dalgaları karşılayan gemiler gibi gövdelerimizle karanlıkları yara yara çıktık. Rüzgarları en serin, uçurumları en derin, havaları en ışıklı sıra dağlara. Hey, hey, hop, hop, hey, hey, hop, hop, hey, hey, hop, hop. Dostların arasındayız, güneşin sofrasındayız. Dostların arasındayız, güneşin sofrasındayız.
Good afternoon. It's me again. Sorry. And thank you for those of you who've managed to stay so long and to listen to all this. So I'll try and make this interesting. Okay. So today I'm going to talk about counting particles in liquids. Particularly I'm focusing on injectable drugs, but I'll touch on some other applications as well. So the reason we check for particles in injectable drugs is because they can block small arteries, and they can actually be an indication of potential microbial contamination in the product, and they could also be something that will cause an allergic reaction to in a patient. So that's why we test in the drugs for particles. The definition, of course, of the unwanted particles is basically anything that shouldn't be in the drug product. So we're not thinking about particles of the drug product itself, but things that really shouldn't be in there. So examples are bits of paper or bits of plastic or glass that may have fallen into the product as it was being filled into the vials. So apart from testing in the injectable drugs, there are other uses for particle counting. You can look for process contamination studies. So I know one company who were finding that they were getting large numbers of particles in their injectable drugs. And they did a study and they worked their way back through the production process. And they found that in fact the particles were coming from their water for injection system, where small parts of the seal in the pipeline were breaking off and getting into the water for injection and then finding their way into their final product. So in fact what they've done now is they've put one of these instruments online on their water for injection system to make sure it doesn't happen again. So they can be used not just for final product testing, but also for researching and root cause analysis in your production line. They can also be used for decomposition studies, stability testing. They can of course be used for testing deionized water or water for injection. And I've seen other applications for precision cleaning, where a product like a medical device is being cleaned, and the way that they define that it is clean enough is by testing the water for particulate levels. So lots of medical devices now, stents, pacemakers, they need to have a certain level of cleanliness. And of course there are some medicines which are designed to be transported into the patient as a particle, such as an inhaler for asthma or things like that. The particle size has to be the right size to penetrate into the lungs correctly. So in some cases these devices are used for testing the drug particle size, not contamination particle size. There are chapters in all the pharmacopoeias for testing for particulates in final drug products. The primary method in all of the pharmacopoeias is an optical particle counter, and it actually specifies a light obscuration as the technique. So we heard just before the break about airborne particle counting, which uses light scattering. The technique for testing particulates in injectable drugs is light obscuration.